And you heard Mozart's Oboe Concerto in CK314 Heinz Hoddegar there. Hi there, Frank.
Hello, Stephen. How are you?
Oh, look, okay. Just hang in there. I've been off colour. Well, I've been under the knife.
Oh, no.
Well, in a sense.
Yes.
Yes, I had to have a tooth. One of my wisdom teeth was playing up, got infected, and they had to remove it in earnest.
Pain.
It was terrible. But I did something a bit unusual in the dentist's chair yesterday. I asked if I could play some Bach on my phone while they were doing the operation.
And they let you?
Yeah, he was good. He was a cellist, the dentist. Yeah, I think so. I think he learnt the cello at school. He's a younger fellow.
Oh, that's lovely.
But he was good. So we listened to the entire Sixth Suite while they had to. It was like roadworks. Removing this thing, they gave me about 7 injections, and they couldn't get it out, but because the tooth had broken up, and so they had,
out piecemeal.
Yeah, they had to dig deep and use rather dramatic extraction techniques, but yeah, we got there in the end.
Oh no!
But I'm all the worse for it. I've got a very stretched mouth to the point where I can't open my mouth very wide, and
That's a terrible feeling. It does go away.
Yes. So I've been sleeping most of the day today. I had to take a day off because the pain is quite full on, and so I'm on sort of anti-inflammatories, and the painkillers are so strong they just knock me out.
Yeah, I know.
The Panadine Fort, whatever they call it.
Yeah, that's heavy stuff. Keep on it. It's better than the alternative.
Yes, it is. I'm happy I'm getting a bit of sleep and catching up a bit. But
that's got codeine in it.
Yes, it does. Yes, it's 30 milligrams. It's quite a bit.
I'm allergic to codeine.
Are you?
Yeah.
So
I found out the hard way by taking.
Oh no! Oh, that's unfortunate.
Never mind. I can't compete with you at the moment.
Oh no, but that wouldn't have been good.
It was sad at the time. Yeah,
oh God, yes.
I was on the verge of going to hospital, but it worked its way through.
Well, goodness me, I'm sorry to hear. Yes. Anyhow, so these things are meant to test us, but I've been sort of off. Out of calibration, so to speak, so I haven't really thought much about missions, but I thought, look, I've got to do something today. I've been sleeping for most of the day and just listening to a few podcasts here and there, and I thought some pretty sort of alarming podcasts, I have to say, about the latest thoughts about AI and where it's all heading with this super intelligence, but it's not easy to fathom. But amongst that, I've had some nice recreational podcasts to listen to as well. Yeah, so I thought, look, we'll try and keep things going this afternoon. Tonight, I really want to do a program because there's some material I'm very keen to share, and I'd just like to bring it out there. It's another music professor thing about the Bach preludes.
Oh, good.
And he's found some Bach sketches of the Book 1, which are quite different to the Book 1 when it was published, of the 48. And yeah, well, 24. But so we'll this will be really worth listening to. So I'm planning to try and I might have a snooze after the show, after this afternoon. Then I'll put my alarm on, and all being well, we'll just make it. Maybe it's a short session. We'll see where it takes us. Yeah. But I'd love to play that. It's really worth listening to.
Sounds really good.
Yeah, so it could be good.
Don't push yourself.
No, well, I'm sort of feeling a little bit restless, to be honest. I just want to start moving back into things, and but look, it could be potentially be quite a relaxed session. So we'll see how it goes.
We've got the family coming tonight.
Okay, sure.
Early-ish.
Okay, sure.
I don't know exactly.
No worries. That's fine, Frank. Well, look, I'll wind up whenever tonight.
He's just telling me at 6 o'clock.
Okay, sure. All right. Well, then, in that case, we'll just go with. And when you finish, I'll just put on a replay because I haven't got a lot of energy at this point.
Sure.
So yeah, that's okay. Well, look, let's get going with the music then. 20s hit. What have I got? This is a song synonymous with the decade. It's the George Olsen and his music, and I don't think it needs any introduction. I think we'll all know it. Let's have to switch things on here. I think we are in sync. Yes, here we go. George Olsen from 1925. Okay, there we have George Olsen and the band, and a song that we sort of all can relate to, I suppose, on one level or another. We've all heard it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, nice little syncopated version there from the 20s. Excuse me. Yes, I'm contending with this cold, unfortunately, as well, but that's okay. No, I always sort of scour the latest uploads from various collectors who are trusted sources and don't overprocess their records. And there's a group that will sort of work in sync. If one loads up something, someone else will load up something similar, and we get all manner of fascinating rarities pop into the circle. This one is the Rhythmic 8. It's an English group recorded in 1930. Features Max Goldberg, of course, who ended up trumpeter, ended up playing with the Channel 9 band and settled in Melbourne, Canadian trumpeter. And it's one of the many bands directed by John Furman, who was the sort of ensemble director at Zonophone in the 20s in England. And but it's got some good talent in this. It's got Arthur Lally on the alto sax and George Scott Woods on the piano accordion. And Max and Jack Miranda on alto. So look, these are upbeat tracks. They're not really jazz, but they're small ensemble and syncopated music coming out of Britain, and shows a lot of very direct American influence. This one is Harlem Madness. We go with the Rhythmic 8 back in 1930, recorded in London. Very clean recordings. They really captured the sound well of the ensemble. And it's interesting to hear the sort of the level of small ensemble, playing with the best musicians in London at that time. And it's nothing like what was happening in America, but it's, there's the influences are very evident. Especially Max Goldberg's playing, although he was Canadian anyhow, wasn't he?
That's right. He was terrific. He was very good, wasn't he?
Yeah, I love that muted sound. There's a story that when Chris interviewed him, he opened up his cupboard and it was full of mutes.
I know.
He had all these different mutes he used for different effects for going back over the decades. He brought them all with him when he migrated here, and all his accessories. And there's a lot of muted trumpet sounds in those 20s discs. I think the muted sound sort of had a particular poignancy, and it was very much a part of the aesthetic. That's quite a captivating song, Harlem Madness. It was originally recorded by the Coon Sanders Nighthawks 1 year prior. I'll play that one because it's a great record. It's just got a fabulous swag to it, and it's really, it's Kansas City music at almost its best, a white band, but they did really well. Coon Sanders Orchestra were just one in a million, and one of the very best bands in the 20s. Harlem Madness, take 2. Yeah, so good to hear some Coon Sanders. What a great band. They had a real sound, and I really like the way Joe Sanders arranged these charts with pitting the sax section, which were very tight. And against the brass, they just had a really good swagger. And one of the very first bands to broadcast in the early 20s, and they'd take requests via ticker tape, apparently. So it's a bit of a background story to the Coon Sanders band.
But there was a Coon and a Sanders, wasn't there?
Yes, there was. Carlton Coon was the drummer, and nothing to do with racial slurs. He was just a
no racial slurs.
No, nothing of the kind. He was a drummer, and Joe Sanders was the pianist and arranger. And Joe Sanders was a repetiteur of one of the opera companies, so he had a background in classical music, and so his arrangements are always really interesting. They're just full of spice, and he really knew how to write music, and he knew they had a very consistent band all through the decade, and the same players, so he really wrote well for them. And but they were very successful, and they would have gone on and on, except Carlton Coon would wait for it. He died from a tooth abscess.
Oh my God, that's appropriate.
A bit poignant. Yeah, exactly, a bit poignant. Poor fellow. So he died not long after that, and then Joe Sanders kept the band going for a bit, but Carlton Coon had a very strong personality, and sort of he was a part of the whole sort of presentation, and. They're one of the first bands. Not only did they first band to broadcast, but one of their broadcasts from round about this period has been captured on 12 sides of 12-inch records, and I think it's one of the only examples of a full-length radio program from that decade. And Chris has shared the file with me, and I think it's in the public domain now. I'll have to dig it up and we can play it. And what's interesting is that the program features only about a third of it as hot dance band music. Most of the band are playing things like waltzes and sort of music for all types and all occasions, and ballads and what have you. And but we associate these bands with sort of hot dance band sounds, but that was only a part of their operation. So anyhow, that was the Coon Sanders band. Now something else, Frank. Of particular interest that's popped up this week after our show on Joe Venuti last week.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, there's not much recorded from Joe Venuti from the late 30s. He had a big band for a short period, and there's a few of those records out there which we can feature another time. But after Eddie Lang died in 1933, he sort of went into a bit of a black hole, poor fellow, and for the better part of 2 decades he was an alcoholic and he didn't do much. And very little of him at all in the 40s and 50s. But this is an exception. This is an unreleased recording made in Hollywood in 1946 featuring Joe Venuti with a small group, and he plays superbly. He's playing violin. Herb Kern is on the Hammond organ, which is really fabulous in the setting. Larry Breen bass, Vincent Terry electric guitar, so early electric guitar, 1946. And Charlotte Launton Tinsley on the harp. So interesting example of chamber jazz in the 1940s featuring Joe Venuti. One of the only records I know of him in that decade. And apparently this is an unreleased pressing. Etc. How's that for a sound? There we have it. Joe Venuti and Estrella. Wasn't it Estrelita? It's a beautiful track. Yeah.
Lovely organ.
Yeah, I know. It works really well, the organ and the harp. It's a nice synergy, isn't it?
Very nice.
Yeah. I love his
Very
playing.
smooth.
Yeah. He's such a free spirit. You can really hear it in his sound.
Yeah, I know.
That's good. Well, plenty more programs on Joe Venuti and Eddie Lang. We'll have to follow that on. Now, another record that's popped into the sphere, which I've probably played before, but it's worth hearing again and again and again, as is any recording with Bix Beiderbecke. Haha. This one is the New Orleans Lucky 7, a recording made for Okaya. And the story is that this record was not supposed to be released, and in fact, a couple of things happened on this. First of all, it sort of rollicks along it's a small chamber ensemble. They're all Whiteman sidemen here, and anyhow, everything's sort of moving nicely, except when Frank Cincarelli, the piano player, starts his solo. Bix accidentally comes in the beginning of the solo. I think he might have had a bit too much, and it doesn't really upset things too much. It's okay. So there's an evident mistake. Then he makes another break. There's a couple of spots where he's sort of just not quite with it, and but it adds a lot of charm. And then in the last chorus, because he didn't think the record was going to be released, he overblows and plays his a series of A flats really sharp, which is something that Bix never ever played out of tune, because he had such good perfect pitch. But he does deliberately in this instance
to make sure it didn't get released.
It didn't get released, but they released it anyhow.
Yeah.
So, and it has a certain sort of raw. You hear a rawness to his tone that you never usually hear, because he just overblows at the end. But it's just interesting because it's actually overall aesthetically it comes across really well. It's a fabulous record. It's called Goose Pimples, and it was recorded in 1928. Yay, that all happened in the end. So, yeah, you can hear what's going on there. It's quite a story, implicit in the way they play and the But I love the way he overblows at the end. I think it actually adds character.
Oh, why not? Yeah.
So yeah, that's a track called Goose Pimples. Actually, 1927, but beautifully recorded. All those OKR records just sound so present. They sound really good. Speaking of recording, Frank, we need to acknowledge the passing of Bill Armstrong, and thank you for your note. And I got a note from quite a few people actually about Bill's passing.
Probably want to do a program.
Yeah, we've got to do something that's comprehensive, and I'll need to spend some time and find some of his later stuff too. And I did interview him at length, and but the only problem was that it was at his he had an office in an industrial estate in South Melbourne, and I went there I've had a bit to do with Bill over the years, and I was there, and we had a chat, but he had a loud air conditioner on, and I should have given him a lapel mic, and it was just a mic sitting on the table, just a recorder on the table, and the air conditioning sounds really loud, and it would have to be annotated, I think. So, but he talked a lot about, I asked him a lot about his very early days and the equipment he used and the microphones he used and microphone placement and just the way he sort of developed his craft of listening, because his early recordings are just so well recorded. There's a real sort of density, and he always got the balance right, and with minimal forces. And he had a custom-made mixer, and he told me he used an STC 4017 for the vocals, and he used a Philips pencil mic for the drums, I think. Oh, no, for the piano. But look, he outlined it all, and I was particularly interested. And he told the story of the Darnham pub and the recordings with Smacker Fitzgibbon.
Oh, yeah, that must have been really difficult recording situation.
Yeah, well, apparently they did it after hours, and they invited all the police along so that they could be there in their mock audience. And by doing that meant that they could keep drinking after the after the event. So.
God.
So it was a sort of a by design. Now the Darnham pub's now closed down. The last time I drove past, it's almost derelict. It's a sad story because the freeway just goes right through that town now. But it must have been a bit of a watering hole back in the day, in the 50s, and he made a number of his smacker records there at that pub in that circumstance, after hours, with a bring-in crowd and to create a party vibe. And so I'll play one of them now, just as a bit of acknowledgement of Bill, and all recorded on a Bayer 77. He had a Bayer 77, his homemade mixer, and a handful of mics, and he really did get it right.
Hiram Perkins got tired of working on the farm each day, so he wandered down when the circus came to town. He saw the animals and the cannibals when they hove in view. Then he got to talking to the wild, wild women, and they got real friendly too. When Hiram got back home again, the folks all said, "Now hi, where did you go? What did you see?" Hiram then replied, "Oh, gee, say, gee, you ought to see my Gigi from the Fiji Isles. Oh, gee, say, gee, you ought to see my baby. She can make you smile. She's got a ring right through her nose and little bells upon her toes. I'd love to tell you that she's some high kicker. She's got the kick to put in homemade liquor. She's got a lingo much better than my jingo, if you know what I mean. She's got a twist of her better than her sister, Chili, Chili Bean. Over here, over there, she's a little bit bare, so she wears 3 leaves to protect her from the air. Oh, gee, say, gee, you ought to see my Gigi from the Fiji Isles." Say, gee, you ought to see my Gigi from the Fiji Isles. Oh, gee, say, gee, you ought to see my baby. She can make you smile. She's got a ring right through her nose and bells upon her toes. I'd love love to tell you that she's some high kicker. She's got the kick they put in homemade liquor. She's got a lingo much better than my dingo, if you know what I mean. She's got a twister better than her sister, chilly, chilly bean. Over here and over there, she's a little bit fair, so she wears 3 leaves to protect her from the air. Oh, gee, say, gee, you ought to see my Gigi from the Fiji Isles. Over here, over there, she's a little bit fair. She wears a couple leaves to protect her from the air. Oh, gee, say, gee, you ought to see my Gigi from the Fiji, from the Fiji, from the Fiji Isles.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I wonder why she was wearing a couple of leaves in the last chorus and 3 leaves in the earlier chorus. But
Well,
never
times
mind.
have changed.
Yes, they certainly have. But
You're 1 leaf later.
yes, that's right. Well done. Yeah, so they recorded at the Darnham pub, and a number of swaggy releases were made there with Graham Bell, Jack Varney, and Smacker himself. And I think I couldn't hear the bring-in audience on that one, but some of them
It was a bit quiet.
it was a bit quiet. Some of them have a
Probably just listening, you know.
yeah.
You hear something. You get in that sort of atmosphere. I know it's a party atmosphere, but you hear something you really want to hear. You don't go screaming out, do you?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. You don't. Here we go. This one, I'm pretty sure this one has the audience. This is from the same session, and yeah, I grew up. My father had this 45, so I remember hearing this from my youngest days. So it was quite interesting to speak to Bill and ask him about the actual session itself. But yeah, here we go. This was released on Parlophone and on Swaggy, and again recorded at the Darnham pub. Mandy with Smacker.
I could hear somebody singing a familiar tune, so I stopped a while to listen. Not a word I wanted to miss. It was just somebody serenading something like this. Yeah, Mandy, there's a minister handy, and it sure would be dandy if we let him make a fee. So don't you linger, here's the ring for your finger. Want a little humdinger? Come along and let the wedding chimes bring a happy time for Mandy and me.
Industrial strength party vibe there.
Yes, there certainly is. I think it was all done in controlled circumstances. And my headphones have gone off. There we go. Yes, apparently John Sangster's on those. I didn't realise that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was looking at the list here. Smacker, Graham Bell, piano, Jack Varney, Lou Silverstein, he would have played the tuba, John Sangster. What would John Sangster play? He's a pianist, though, isn't he? I don't know. Maybe he played vibes. Graham Fitzgibbon. Maybe that's Smacker. I don't know. Al Wilson, James Brennan, Frisco Joe's Good Time Boys. There we go. That was just a little tribute to Bill Armstrong.
That was lovely.
Yeah, it's a bit of fun there.
Lovely stuff.
Yeah, it's cool. Good.
He made a record. Smacker made a recordings or some recordings with Graham Kennedy.
Oh, that'd be fun to find.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, I'm going to write that down and I'll look them up. Yeah, I remember Leighton said that he repaired Smacker's television set.
Yeah, that's right.
Graham Kennedy. All right, I've got that written down. All right, so we'll.
Graham could sing very much like Max if he in the day.
Yeah. He made excuse me. He made a couple of records, I think. Graham Kennedy.
So he did. Yeah, I think he made one. Maybe I dreamt it, but anyway, if you could have a look.
Yeah, I will. I'll look it up. I'll do a bit of research and see. I have got another recording here that Bill gave me actually, and I did play it a couple of weeks ago, but we might, before it gets filed away. This is one of his own labels. He had he was very enterprising in the early 50s. He had a couple of record labels he set up. He evidently, I think he was able to exploit the resources at 3DB, because I think he worked as a turntable operator at 3DB as a youngster.
Okay.
And he was able to sort of probably outsource their equipment. And but he had one label for the Musicians Union called Southern Cross.
Oh, I only know Swaggy.
Yeah, I've never ever seen another one of these records. And he gave it to me. He said, I had a short spell working for the union and made a label for them called Southern Cross Records. And he did a lot of custom acetates, of course, for people as well. And I've got quite a few of those here as well. They're early. I think it's got his name on it. And so we'll see if I can...
You've got the makings of a terrific program.
Well, we could try and dig some stuff up. But look, I'll play this one again. This is, you might remember, it's McDuff Williams and the Melbourne ABC Dance Band, and it's Billy Hyde.
He was a very famous
drummer. Melbourne drummer,
drummer.
That's right, an identity.
In fact, he's got a record since the music shop going.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I associate him with the music shop, of course, and he was evidently a celebrated musician, and so it's called Rudiments. Rudiments for Percussion's the name of the record, and this one is definitely another of Bill Armstrong's. And what I'll do as well, Bill also gave me some dubbings of his wire recordings, which he had re-equalized. And he made a lot of wire recordings in the late 40s and early 50s. It's amazing to think he was recording in the late 40s, isn't it? It's astonishing, really. And he was still alive until a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
He started very young. And he told me he got this wire recorder. His father bought it for him or something. And he went out there and he just recorded everything. And he
would, if you had such a thing at that time.
That's right. I mean, they were expensive devices, so it was a very generous gift, and it was enabled him to sort of establish himself, I suppose. And he did record the 1948 or 49 jazz convention in Melbourne at. I can't remember where it was, one of the big halls in Melbourne, but and he had a whole lot of wire dubbings from it, and he had them re-equalized and sent me them on CD, and they sounded amazing, absolutely amazing. And also he recorded and sent me recordings of Spike Jones when he came out to Australia.
Oh, good heavens.
And it was some of the first stereo recordings made in Australia in about 1953 or 54. Thereabouts, and he had a custom-made Bayer 77 with stereo heads and 2 amplifiers, and it was the first one that Max Bayer was experimenting with, and he got to use it and recorded the Spike Jones. Now, I've got that on CD as well somewhere here, so we'll have to feature those recordings as well. I think it'd be great.
I wonder what happened to his stuff in the finish,
Yeah, he had, where his offices in South Melbourne had quite extensive archives. But I think a lot of it was lost, or a lot of it was sold off, because he had, I think he had a few marriages, and I think things sort of moved in different directions at different points.
Would tend to.
Yeah, so he did lament the fact that he didn't have much of his really early stuff, but I think there's a fair bit of it around. But I mean, look, he's sort of well known for his later career, of course, with Armstrong Audiovisual and all the amazing commercial work he did. I mean, he was the big kid on the block with all that commercial work in the 60s and 70s and 80s. And we're up to the Metropolis era, and that was a huge enterprise.
I've got this marvellous record of Earl Hines. I think I've played.
Oh yes, that's right. Yes, indeed.
That's on Swaggy.
That's on Swaggy. Yes, absolutely. Oh, it's probably recorded by him.
Yeah, that's how I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah. That's good. Excellent. All right. Well, let's have a listen to this Southern Cross disc with Billy Hyde, Rudiments of Music. And I'll just have to quickly set it up here. We're not quite in sync yet. And we did play this the other week, but I'm very happy to play it again.
Let's hear it again.
Rudiment for percussion. That's what we're discussing. Rudiment for percussion. Press beat on the drum.
Now single stroke and double two, they're the first two beats that you learn to do. Make them even and smooth with a steady beat. And here's where we start our rudimental feat. Rhythm cues by they're easy enough. Just mix them up with a roll or a rough. We play single, double and triple two. Now pull up your drums and take a cue. Five, they got a beat right enough, play it nice and steady with a 5-stroke row. Hard and fast and very loud, and fellas, you got something there that'll please the crowd. Now just take an ordinary single paradiddle and play it on the stick around about the middle. A 5-stroke roll and the triple paradiddle. Now let's get on with this rudimental riddle. Mighty smooth and he plays with a beat. He's what you might call a musician's treat. He hits 40s hard and piano's soft, and the band really rocks when he goes along. Now we've taken you partway through the rudimental book, but before you go, let's take one last look. Take all your rudiments, play them as one, and now we present a man in rock.
There we have it. Rudiments for Percussion, Billy Hyde, and a recording made by Bill Armstrong back in the day, back in the 50s, early 50s, I presume.
Very good.
Nothing like the Australian accent, is there, on there?
That's right.
You can really hear it.
You hear it so seldom. It sounds.
Yeah, I know.
It hits you in the ear, doesn't it?
It does. I think it's Edwin Duff. But, yeah, there we go. I just found a recording of from the AES Melbourne. I think you and I went to one of those lectures, Frank.
Oh, okay.
I think you and I
We did.
We did. We heard Bill talking about his craft. I remember.
We did.
That's right. That was some years ago. Yeah. I think this was.
I reckon 10 years. Oh, no, 8 years.
It could have been about 8 years ago, because this is from the. I've just noticed that the AES, the Audio Engineering Society in Melbourne, have put this up. And it's him talking about his recording kit, and it's an interview at his office. and it's much better than the one I did. But look, I'll play it now, and but you probably I can share it with you if you have to disappear partway through. But it goes for about 16 minutes. So
okay. Well, there's a chance I will.
Yeah.
If I don't come back, that's where I've gone.
Yeah, that's all right. No worries. Well, look, I'm expecting to be up and running tonight. I really want to do it tonight. So
just as you wish. But I mean, even if you don't, you didn't even let me know. If you're not there, you're not there.
Yeah, it's all right. I'll if I happen to sleep through it, I apologise. But yeah, I will be taking a painkiller after this. But hopefully, I'll be awake by 11 o'clock. And just for an hour or so. And I'd like to, really like to play that Bach program. It's so interesting.
I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, and I know you'd be, wrapped in that. But look, I'll play this little interview with Bill now because it's a little bit topical, and we're sort of on the road with his story. And he's got his. It starts off with him using, I think it's actually using my wire recorder to play back, and then he goes on and explains what how he did it back in the day. So here we go, a short interview with Bill Armstrong made about 10 years ago, thereabouts, 8 years ago.
Interesting thing about the turntable, it runs at 78 RPM, so you could buy an attachment so you could play your records and dub them onto the wire. So you could actually have all your favourite 78 records on to run for an hour. I started recording in about 1948-49 when I built a disc cutting machine from bits and pieces that I bought from a guy called Royce, who had a Royce recording studios in Little Burke Street. I think he used to cut records of people doing Cheerios to send them to people across the world during the war years and things like that. And I bought a turntable from him, and I made the lathe top in the engineering school at Caulfield Tech. They had, in those days, Caulfield Tech was even had a blacksmithing shop. It's now Monash University. I was doing what do you call review, where did you go for school sort of thing. I said, Monash University. So hang on, it's Monash now, but it was Caulfield Tech then. So I made a disc cutting machine, and with the help of Neil McRae, who you probably know, who lived down the road from me, built the appropriate amplifier, and I bought a cutting head from Max Bayer, made disc cutting equipment those days. So I was able to, in the sort of back ante room of my house, which was my room, which faced onto a veranda which was enclosed with an open big room that had a piano in it. So it was quite often that musos like Len Bernard and Bob Bernard and other, John Sangster amongst the others, that come along and like to hear themselves back. So they'd come down a back room and I'd record them onto an acetate and play it back to them. Then that was always difficult. I did occasionally took the disc cutting machine out somewhere, but it was a real drama to be cutting discs on location. But in 1949, the generosity of my parents, I bought a Pyrox wire recorder. At that time, tape wasn't. It was in Europe and possibly in America, but there were no tape machines here. But wire recorders were the go, and radio stations. Every radio station had a Pyrox wire recorder, which were pretty good, and I've still got the one here that I bought in 1949. So that enabled me to do portable recording, of which I did a lot of, in particular the 1949 Jazz Convention at the Prahran Town Hall. So I would record hours and hours of jazz music and then cut it onto acetates for the bands who wanted to buy an acetate from me. Still, a few of those acetates still hang around, but and I think I've actually still got a few of the wires that still play and play very well. I've certainly got a concert that I did with Graham Bell in the Melbourne Town Hall. I think it was about 1950 of a concert that he did there, and playing it back, it sounds pretty good. So they had a frequency response up to about 8, and the wound flutter wasn't too bad, but well, it was in good condition. But if someone was playing slow piano, you could hear a little bit of flutter or wow more than flutter. But then the next step was to acquire a tape machine, which Max Beyer made extremely good tape machines. A lot of people you'd remember the Beyer 77, the red case one that they made for the Olympic Games. And the ABC, being the host broadcaster, provided all these booths with these Beyer 77s, which I think they were quite amazed at how very good these machines were and the quality of them. And I don't have that machine anymore, but a few people have got them. I'd love to acquire one again. In Albert Road, my recollection is the first mixer there, Graham Thurkel made a 4-channel mixer, a very, very basic mono mixer, because everything was mono in those days that they're talking about. And that had 4 inputs on it, and I bought from Philips, who made the Neil McRae design a 4-channel not passive, but a 4-channel mixer, which was microphone in, microphone out level. So I bought 4 of those, which then gave me, they were about, I don't know, about 9-10 inches wide by about 4 or 5 inches deep, with just 4 controls on them. It was just a microphone in, microphone level out. So that, with buying 4 of those, and with this, it was coloured yellow, so we used to call it the yellow peril. So then with those 4, we had 16 channels, and each 4, of course, had one master control over it. So that was all mono. Now that was for quite a while. That was our main mixing. They were quite well. Listening to the stuff back these days, it sound okay. There weren't any, to my knowledge, mixers you could buy here. There were all sorts of components and bits and pieces we knew about in America or Europe, but they were all mainly seemed like broadcast type things or modules you could buy, but then you had to put them into something. I can't think of the names of the equipment, but Fairchild made a lot of plug-in modules and things like that from memory. Anyway, that survived for quite a while before Graham actually made a small console mixer, which was I'll have to look at photographs, but I think it was like 8 in and 2 out, something like that. So that we were in stereo then. And using those in conjunction with the Scully 8-track, we got pretty good results. But looking back on it, very basic gear, not much EQ anywhere. I think it was a bit of bass cut, but that's about all. But by and large, a lot of the microphones actually had bass slope off on them anyway, if you needed. If you're just using a Neumann 47, they had little controls on the back of them where you could slope the bottom off, and they could either be, in most cases, a cardioid or a figure 8. Some had omnidirectional, but I can't recall. But I think mainly the ones we had with the Neumann, I think they were 67s, which were the ones that had cardioid and figure 8. Anyway, they were very, very good microphones, and they're still good today. But that was before phantom power came in. They were all separately powered by those little amplified power boxes. We had a small number of other non-condenser microphones. Some ones made by Steen Sound Systems. They made an exceptionally good ribbon mic called an R47. I think I had a couple of those. But by and large, our mainstay were Neumann microphones, which even constantly hard to beat over the years. Even from then, though, the quality was superb. The only thing that really changed was the system of delivery when they became phantom powered and then had various other switching on them and things like that. But the quality of the earlier ones was excellent, and because the facilities and quality of the other ones, I'm sure, improved dramatically, but I don't recall it being that much different. But the main thing was the convenience of phantom powering. But we didn't use many other sort of microphones from memory. Can't much. And tape machines were, well, we had the Scully, and then the next step, of course, was Graham Thurkel's 16-track machine, which I was sort of funding the development of it, because Graham was a person who would invent something but be continually changing it and never finishing it, as one would imagine in a factory like Ampex. They would develop a machine and then put it into, move away from the engineers who invented it, and it goes into production, and then they go out the door with an instruction book and all that sort of stuff. But I kept feeding him money to make this 16-track machine, which ultimately he did deliver it, but about a year late. A classic remark of Roger Savage was, because he so often it was going to turn up tomorrow or the next day or something, and he said, Roger's classic comment was, "Don't roll out the red carpet until the truck pulls up." which is people that know Graham would understand what we mean. He was an absolute Edison or genius, but he never could finish things. And it didn't matter, as long as I've known him through all the years and things, that this was a problem, that he could never freeze the design of something. He'd almost be walking along changing things as he wheeled it in, you know. So they're all the funny sides of it, but he was an absolute genius, and it's like all those things, what you would have done without him, nobody can tell, but he was a genius at understanding and inventing. And when you think in those machines, the only parts he didn't make were the tape heads and the transistors, those sort of things. But he made almost every screw, and I think the tape heads he bought in. But apart from that, he made the motors, the drive, the cabinets. His father was a very clever engineer also, who made the frames and those sort of things in respect of them making the hardware that the machine's got to sit into and so forth. So he, was just a special person that did all those things, and we were sad to see him go.
Okay, we have it. An AES interview there with Bill Armstrong, and very interesting to hear him reflect on Graham Thurkell, who was one of the unsung heroes of audio design in Melbourne.
He was. That was great.
Yeah, it was really good, really interesting. In fact, there's an interview with Graham Thurkell with Bill Armstrong interviewing him on his deathbed about a week before he died.
Oh, okay.
He died of cancer, in the 80s or 90s. And he's not in the great way, but Bill interviews him, and I'll have to dig it up because it's most interesting.
That would be, look, I've got to go.
Yeah, no worries, Frank. Thank you, Frank.
Going
yeah, all fine. Yeah. We'll catch up with you later, Frank.
Look forward.
All
Take
good.
care, Steve.
Yeah, no worries. You
Speak
too.
soon.
Cheers. Bye now. Okay, folks. There we have it. That's the story of Armstrong Audio Visual and Graham Thurkell. And incidentally, Graham Thurkell's name is on the design for the Roller Mark III tape machine, which is sort of ubiquitous. So every radio station had one, but I believe Thurkell was about 17 years of age when he designed the amplifier for that. So it gives you an idea if he was a child protege. So, worked for Bayer Industries for a while. But I think we'll try and dig up that interview with Thurkell himself at some point and complete the picture. Right, I'm going to head off in a moment, ready for a late night program, catching up with myself. It's been one hell of a week. My God, I had a big concert on Tuesday, and then the next day, everything fell apart. Now, here we go. I'm going to play Miss Annabelle Lee, another recording of Smacker Fitzgibbon, and recorded by none other than Bill Armstrong himself back in the early 50s. And I'll say cheers. We'll be back again later on. And until then, this is vk3sl going Kuati.
Who's wonderful, who's marvelous, Miss Annabelle Lee. Who's lovable, who's kissable, Miss Annabelle Lee. Ain't she some pretty baby? What would you give? Escorting her, supporting her, don't forget that she's exclusive. Who's dignified, who's glorified, Miss Annabelle Lee. What makes them fall? She has it all. One look and you'll see. I ain't telling you a thing, boy, you're telling me. who's wonderful, who's marvelous, Miss Annabel Lee. Wonderful, marvelous Annabel Lee, lovable, kissable Annabel Lee. Ain't she some pretty baby? What would you give? Escorting her, supporting her, don't forget that she's exclusive. Who's dignified, who's glorified, Miss Annabel Lee. That baby's warm and true to form, just bet and you'll see. I ain't telling you a thing, boy, you're telling me. Who's wonderful, who's marvelous, Miss Annabel Lee. Yes, sir, that's my baby. No, sir, I don't mean maybe. Yes, sir, that's my baby now. Yes, ma'am, we've decided. No, ma'am, we won't hide it. Yes, ma'am, you're invited now. By the way, yes, by the way, when we reach the preacher, I will say with feeling, yes, sir, that's my baby. No, sir, I don't mean maybe. Yes, sir, that's my baby now. Yes, sir, that's my baby. No, sir, I don't mean maybe. Yes, sir, that's my baby now. Yes, ma'am, we've decided. No, ma'am, we won't hide it. Yes, ma'am, you're invited now. By the way, oh, by the way, when we reach that preacher, I will say with feeling, yes, sir, that's my baby. Yes, sir, that's my baby. Yes, sir, that's my baby now. Yes, sir, that's my baby now.
Yes, sir, that's my baby. No, sir, don't mean maybe. Yes, sir, that's my baby now. Yes, ma'am, we decided. No, ma'am, we won't hide it. Yes, ma'am, you can find it now. By the way, when I read the preacher man, I say, yes, sir, that's my baby. No, sir, I don't mean baby. Yes, sir, that's my baby.